game. Nice fungal growth again from these two infestors to slow these, to keep these siege tanks sort of in place. And Roach is going to eat them up. Broodlord's out of range of the missile torch, just dropping broodlings all over the place. They see a ton of Vikings really quickly going out there to probably try and deal with those, see where they go. These Roaches having free range over here, pushing areas all the way back in, and there are a ton of Vikings back here with an air battle going on, but this land battle, meanwhile, oh my goodness, Nexlife pushing in here with just absolute unity here, killing everything in the way. Best of Terran just tearing through everything. These Broodlords getting picked apart, meanwhile, by these Vikings. Obviously, Broodlords can't attack air, so when there were so many of them and so few mutes, Vikings just killed the mutes and then killed the Broodlords, no problem. But Vikings obviously can't attack ground, so they're going to have to back off unless they want to land, and they're not going to take that chance. You see, Ares knows he's in trouble here. Meanwhile, on the land side of things, pulling SCVs to, looks like trying to make a choke here, but they're all dead now. And take a look at the amount of workers lost right now. 23 of them have been killed by Nexlife, where only 16 has been killed by Ares. It's a clear advantage to Nexlife. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Nidus Worm come up here to try and defend these. You see some Vikings here now fighting off. They have landed and they're sort of fighting off these Roaches. See how effective they are. The Roaches sort of taking to the behind of this orbital command, and a sweep here, making sure that the burrow isn't effective. And these siege tanks are going to be very, very effective as long as these Vikings can hold them off. It looks like they have. The Roaches are in trouble. Meanwhile, behind all this, Nexlife has good with another force of Roaches, and he has taken down the natural. So Ares is in deep trouble here. He has dealt with this main force. So he does with this force of the natural. He's going to bring some stuff down, bring some Hellions in there, and those aren't going to be too much of a problem for the Roaches. See, these siege tanks are choking up this choke here, sort of putting themselves in a line. And these Roaches are going to burrow, but I don't think Ares is going to have any trouble detecting those. It looks like he hasn't done a nice sweep there to make sure he's found everything, and he has. And Nexlife forced to actually back off there, and it looked like there for a while Ares, that game was going to be over for Ares. So surprising that he's still in it, actually. If you take a look at the income tab, he's down 67 to 22 in harvester count. So that would tells me that Nexlife, very, very clear advantage, obviously, and he should be taking advantage of that right now. See, Ares has a very far forward missile turret here. I'm not sure what that was. A couple more missile turrets just to defend against these burrowed Roaches, it looks like. He put them all over the map, but no problem there for Nexlife. Nexlife behind this sort of offensive move has expanded on these outside expansions that I mentioned so much earlier, are going to be so pivotal to this late game action as these two players run out of minerals at their main and their natural. And at this point, it looks like the main is completely mined out for Nexlife, and Ares would be as well if it wasn't for those nice attacks that were just placed in there. And his natural looks like there's not many harvesters left. Meanwhile, on the main, these siege tanks, or the high yield, these siege tanks in these planetary fortress, going to hold off any sort of advancement Nexlife has. It's going to be a very difficult thing to break down, actually. Looks like Ares is very content to turtle up right now, but he is in trouble. The advantage is definitely to Nexlife. You see him breaking down this back wall to try and get in there, and Ares going to send some Hellions over there and deal with those, so no problem. But looks like this supply depot, this right supply depot is going to die before Ares can do anything about it, so that's a problem for him. See if that plays a role in another Nidus Worm coming up from Nexlife. A great Nidus Worm. Although there isn't too much back here at this main anymore, but he's just going to kill a little bit of these reactors, this tech lab, so that there are no more, these factories aren't going to be able to produce Thors anymore, or siege tanks. So that's going to be very helpful for Nexlife. You see some Hydralisks as well back here to deal with those Vikings, presumably, but Ares really hasn't moved out of those. So you see these siege tanks going into siege mode and absolutely decimating this force. Wow, look at them go. They are absolutely obliterating Nexlife right now. And he just lost everything without much gain again. So those Nidus Worms, oh, we see a couple of Ultralisks actually in here. And they're going to come out. Wow, there's, looks like 2 or 4 of them. No, just 2 of them. And they're going to get in here, kill, it looks like only 1 siege tank. And once again, Nexlife really denied by Ares here. These siege tanks are going to be very, very effective against those Ultralisks. And it looks like there's those Roaches as well when they're not in siege mode, and they seem very content to just sort of hang back. And looks like another Nidus Worm is going to die now for Nexlife. And boy, that's the, it's got sent 3 or 4 full groups of units through there, and none of them have really done too much. He's lost a lot that way. So it seems to me that he's really sort of confused as to how we should proceed here and how we should finish Ares off. Take a look at the income tab once again. He's 65 with 37 right now. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, it's a high yield, 4 bases mining right now. To Ares, Ares has mined out the high yield completely. He just now got this 4th, it looks like. His natural is very close to mined out. So it's 4 mining bases to 2 right now. And I mean, you take a look at the income tab. There are some mules down right now. It looks like 3 or 4 mules down from Aries. So he is sort of closer on that tab, on the income tab, than he would be regularly. But the gas advantage says more. I think he's up about 300 gas right now, and 64 over 41 in terms of harvester count also. So that is really telling as to what's going on. You see Nexlife really transitioning into some heavy mutes right now, because he saw that there weren't many Marines out there, and there weren't any Thors in that last sort of nice rim attack he had as well. But this is not the position he wants to be in. He's found the few Vikings that Ares does have, and they are really picking away at his mute force. Looks like he's going after the Thors. Ares doing a great job getting those SCVs in and repairing it, though. He's going to get 2 kills and not even die, not taking any damage. These mutes are getting picked off really quickly. They did get a siege tank right there, though. And keep in mind, any unit Nexlife kills right now, as long as he doesn't lose a very large force, it's going to be his advantage, because Ares is very close to mined out completely at this point. And if, you know, Nexlife can keep whittling away at that force, he's going to have a very clear advantage. He hasn't really started mining here at this, let's call it a 5th, which is interesting to me, because where are his 71 harvesters, you know? Most of them seem to be at the high yield and this 4th, but I don't really know, where did he put them all? He should have more mining than he seems to, but it doesn't really matter, honestly, at this point, because Ares doesn't have much mining. You see these Zerglings trying to come in and put a little bit of pressure. Ares dealing with them with Hellions. Those Hellions have been very effective against Zerglings all day, by the way. So those Zerglings haven't really been a problem for Ares. It's really been the Mutas, and the Ultralisks have done a decent job, and the Roaches in particular. A couple of Hydralisks here, they haven't really been useful at all, actually, for Nexlife, because Ares sort of transitioned out of Vikings as soon as he saw that there was no more Mutes. Did see a couple in that last exchange. See these Zerglings, meanwhile, splitting the force of Zerglings is Nexlife, and those Hellions came back and dealt with one of them. But they're back here on these factories again, and it looks like they're just going to pick away at these tech labs to make sure that those siege tanks and those Thors don't come out as quickly as Nexlife would like. And it looks like he got 2 of them, almost got one of those factories completely, actually. And good attack right there from Nexlife. Didn't lose too much in terms of army comp. Once again, can't stress enough that any sort of unit or building he takes down is going to be to his advantage right now, as long as he doesn't lose too much in terms of minerals and gas, in terms of army in exchange, because he's just so far ahead in macro right now that he can really just be like, okay, I'm going to attack you, I'm going to kill a couple of your tanks, and I'm going to lose, I don't know, 1 or 2 Ultralisks, and that's going to be a win for me. So he really doesn't have to do too much in these exchanges to win this game. Ares is in some deep trouble. Seems very content to sort of stay behind his planetary fortress and hope that, you know, anything Nexlife throws at him he can deal with and not lose too many units in exchange. You see there are a ton of Mutes and a ton of Ultralisks here, so let's see what happens there. Those Ultralisks weren't very effective out of that Nidus Worm last time. Those siege tanks did a very good job dealing with them. So we'll see what happens in terms of what Nexlife uses them for this time. He does have a couple of Zerglings behind him, a couple of Mutes, but at these Mutes, if they have to deal with those anti-air units quickly this time, because last time it looks like he's splitting them actually. He's going to send these behind maybe? I'm not exactly sure. He's sending them to the main. Where is he going with these? It looks like he's going to deal with these factories, maybe harass and move behind it with that Ultralisk force. We'll see what happens. Looks like he's going to take this factory down. Ares responding with some Vikings. He's got about 6 Vikings there coming in, and this is not the position Nexlife wants to be in. He got a factory, and it looks like he got it at the price of 1 Mutalisk, which is a good trade for him. Ares really needs that factory to keep producing the siege tanks and Thors. And it's interesting there's no Marine Marauder balls right now. You see these Ultralisks dealing on a sensor tower, just doing a little bit of damage, a little bit of harass, and I think Nexlife has really identified what I was saying earlier, which is, you know, if I can take down some of his stuff at a very low unit cost, it's going to be very effective to me. And it looks like that's what he's doing with these Mutes. He's just sort of picking some targets, taking them down. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes down this missile turret or some, you know, SCVs or something. He just needs to take down as much as he can at as low of an army cost count as possible. You see these Thors, though, are going to be Ares' real last hope. He's got some siege tanks back here. He really isn't doing too much, though. Take a look at the unused minerals. Nexlife, our Zerg player, is completely maxed almost in terms of army comp. He's got 4,000 unused, and Ares has 190, so he's almost maxed on army comp as well. But, you know, as long as Nexlife can rebuild his army quicker than Ares can, he's going to have this game in the bag, because Ares, this is really all he's got left. You see some Banelings coming up right now, actually, from Nexlife. So see if we get a Baneling bust on something here. Maybe try and run in and get those Thors. I'm not exactly sure. We will see in a second. But most of those Zerglings are turning into Banelings now. He's got Banelings, Ultralisk, a couple Infestors actually. Those fungal growths really were very, very effective. You see, meanwhile, Ares is actually going on the offensive here, and that's really all he can do. This Hellions are actually been really good for him all game, and he looks like he's got all of these drones here at this 5th. But it looks like a base trade. Nexlife's like, you can have that base. I'm going to take your high yields off. This isn't mining. See these Banelings going ahead, a couple of them hitting that planetary fortress. And that was a pretty big defensive structure for Ares. And he did lose, he didn't actually kill this hatchery either. He just killed the drones. So it's about an even trade. But Nexlife, once again, any sort of building or structure or unit he kills is going to be to his advantage right now. So he's going to take away probably a slight advantage from that exchange. See him dealing with some missile turrets there with some Ultralisk. Ares has a ton of siege tanks here that he's willing to put down here and sort of stop any advance, but that's not going to happen. You see a sweep there looking for roaches potentially, although Nexlife really has transitioned out of those. Couple of infestors here. He's got to protect those very, very carefully because those are going to be very effective. If Ares doesn't spread these tanks out, that fungal growth will just eat through them. And Ares got to be very careful about that. Let's see what happens here. It looks like they're moving out here. Nexlife trying to get these Ultralisks in range. It's not going to happen for him. He's going to lose 2 at absolutely no gain to him, so he's got to be careful there. These mutes are coming in now, and nice fungal growth. Those fungal growths are very effective against those siege tanks. Losing all of those siege tanks as Ares. Those forward siege tanks are all dead. To the right, these Thors are dealing with these Ultralisks very, very capably, though. And it looks like Nexlife going to lose a lot there. Got a lot of those siege tanks out of the way, though. And Ares is at a point where he really needs to be careful because he's only got 41 over 46 now, but those harvesters completely useless for Nexlife. You see transition in a ton of hatcheries here, just sort of pumping out units because he had so many unused earlier minerals and gas that didn't really matter for him. See a couple of these overlords are getting hit. That could be a problem, but otherwise nothing too serious. Ares advancing just with Thors. See what happens here. Does Nexlife have an answer for these? Because if he doesn't start getting in here soon, he's going to be in trouble. Losing, it looks like 3 or 4 hatcheries. He is still mining though, and here come a ton of Zerglings, and a great surround with those Zerglings, and these Thors are in trouble, it looks like. These Ultralisks can't get in though because of these Zerglings, but they are surrounded, and they are doing a very good job with these Thors, and they killed all of them, and Ares GG's because that was the only force he had left. He tried to expand behind this, it looks like, into this 5th because he thought he killed it, but he made a mistake earlier, he didn't kill it. And he had absolutely no more mining going on. You see, this 3rd from him was almost completely mined out. High yield was gone. Natural was pretty much gone. And his main was gone. Meanwhile, you take a look at Nexlife, very, very well off here at his, call it his 6th, I guess. And he had a little bit left here at his 3rd. And this was completely wide open to mine at his 5th. So he was, he got another force, another complete force after Ares killed the first one. And I think Ares saw, okay, shit, like, I'm in trouble here. I just killed what I thought was the last of Nexlife's force, and here he comes with a full force that can match mine again. I have nothing else I can throw at Nexlife at this point. I'm done. So it was a great game from both players, and I'm glad I brought it to you. This has been Kuzi for Contraband Esports Network. I hope you enjoyed this game, and I'll see you guys next time.